You're listening to the Vint Wine Podcast, where you'll hear interviews and stories from around the wine world. From writers and critics to winemakers and sommeliers, we'll explore the people and businesses who are instrumental in shaping wine culture. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of 5 Questions presented by the Vint Marketplace. In these interviews, we highlight world-class writers and critics, winemakers, and sommeliers featured on our full-length episodes in a quick 5-question format. We hope you learn more about a new producer, what makes their wine special. Enjoy.
We are here with 5 Questions with Cornelius Dönnhoff. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll dive right in. Question number 1, where are your vineyards located and what varieties do you work with?
Okay, so the Donoff Winery, we are located in the Nahe region. The Nahe region is a very small region in Germany, so we are just south of the Mosel and west of the Rheingau. And in general, the Nahe, we have only like 4% of the total production of German wine, so it's a tiny, tiny region. And yeah, today I'm farming here around 32 hectares, mostly Riesling. 80% is planted with Riesling. I have a little bit of Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, and also some Chardonnay, but the focus for us is Riesling.
If someone has never heard about Dönnhoff and they're a wine enthusiast, what would the first thing you want them to know be?
It's a tricky question. The first thing I want them to know about us. Yeah. So our wines, what I want is that my wine transports the flavor of the sites they grow on. Yeah. And I want my wines never opulent. I want always to have like elegant wines with a lot of freshness and with a lot of like connection to the land where they come from. And yeah, best thing is to taste them. To explaining is kind of tricky.
That makes sense. I think that is clear enough. The next question is, what are some regions or wine styles outside of the Nahe or Germany as a whole that inspire you, inspire maybe your style or make you think differently about how you want to make wine?
Yeah, the wine world is so complex. Just picking one wouldn't do justice. I mean, there's so many things I haven't tried, and there are a lot of things I have tried so far, and I always get surprised. Yeah. And in the last couple of times, I had a friend who brought me some indigenous wines from indigenous grapes from Georgia, and this was like mind-blowing sometimes. Yeah, extremely interesting, completely different style what we are doing, but also great wines. On the other hand, I'm super interested in new world stuff like Australia, New Zealand. And the reason is quite simple, because they don't have a long history, so they don't have kind of like, like that thinking, oh, we can't do that because we didn't do it in the past or something like that. So their approach is completely different. And this fascinates me to see how, with an open mind, when you go with an open mind onto this wine topic, what kind of wines come out of it at the end.
On that topic, I have to add just one sub question. What is your perspective on closures in terms of wine, especially Riesling?
Depends on the winemaking and depends on the finished wine, what you want to achieve. I think, wines that are drunk or should be drunk young and where the freshness and, like there's like fruit flavor profile, primary flavor profile is the most important thing. And I think screwcap is a very good option. But I mean, I have drunken wine from 1880, 1890 under cork. If the cork is good, I still think this is the best closure for Riesling.
Those wines must have been incredible. The next question is, which vintages over the years have stood out to you and why? And these they could stood out to you not just for the quality of wine, but it could be memorable because of how hard the harvest was or how great it was, anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many. I just had a nice conversation with a friend of mine over another day. So we had just our vintage presentation, and during our vintage presentation, I make like a tasting of some varieties where we go into the cellar and pour some wines from different vintages, different vineyard sites. And for me, when I drink a wine that I made from, let's say 2007 or something like that, and I take the first sip on it, it's like opening like a book in my brain, what happened during the year. Yeah, sometimes you don't remember it before, but when you taste it at that moment, you have sometimes memories of it. Yeah. And as I said, it has nothing to do. Sometimes it's just basic things like a nice summer or, some extremely challenging harvest because we had a lot of rain and stuff like this. So every vintage leaves like a mark in that book. So I couldn't pick one, but if you want to need one, I have two. One was 2006. I was working here together with my father, and it was a terrible vintage because we had like botrytis everywhere. And this was kind of super devastating because we couldn't do anything because we had just bad weather and you can't do anything about it. And it was like a kind of a bad example. Still good wines at the end, but from the workload we were having during the harvest, it was like, you don't want that anymore. Yeah. It's one time in your life is enough. Yeah. And then we had other vintages, which was like total opposite. For example, 2015. 2015 was like picture perfect. Yeah. Healthy grapes until like late November. Super easy harvest over 8 weeks and everybody happy. And yeah, maybe those two things then.
Last question. Looking forward, what is on the roadmap for Dönnhoff?
Yeah, just keep doing what we're doing. We don't want to increase. We don't have no plans in new vineyards or anything like that. Obviously, we just try to do the best work and try to get out the best of a vintage and always, tweak a little bit the details and try to make it as good as possible.
Perfect. That's a winery that's driven by legacy and great heritage. Thank you so much. This has been 5 Questions with Cornelius Dönnhoff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.